Good morning, students, and welcome to your science class. This is part 2 of the lesson, the fundamental unit of life. Yesterday we learned about Robert Hooke and the discovery of cells. Today let us learn a little more. Every living thing is made up of cells. You already know that. Just as a wall is made up of bricks or a class is made up of students, in the same way all living things are made up of cells. That means you sitting there listening to my presentation, watching this presentation, you also are made up of cells. Now you already know that cells are very small and usually we make use of a microscope to see them. Alright, can a whole organism be made up of just one cell? Can we have single-celled organisms? Yes, we can. And these organisms are called unicellular organisms. Uni means one. On the other hand, organisms that are made up of more than one cell are called multicellular organisms. Multi means many. Now, unicellular organisms are smaller in size and have simpler structures as compared to multicellular organisms. Examples of unicellular organisms include bacteria, protozoa such as amoeba, paramecium, euglena, and so on. And examples of multicellular organisms include plants, animals, and fungi. Now, every multicellular organism has come from a single cell. How, you may ask? Now, cells divide to produce cells of their own kind, and all cells thus come from pre-existing cells. So, to recap, unicellular organisms are organisms where the entire organism is made up of just one cell, and multicellular organisms, the organism is made up of many cells. Now, for example, a single-celled organism such as amoeba can carry out all the functions like a multicellular organism. So, amoeba can capture its own food, it can digest its food, respire, excrete, grow, and reproduce. Now, similar functions in multicellular organisms are carried out by specialized cells, which are arranged in groups that form tissues, and these tissues then form organs. We call this division of labor. Now, division of labor means different parts of the human body would perform different functions. To make it easy for you, just think of it like this. At home, maybe your job is to help your parents to sweep the floor or maybe to fold the clothes. If you have a brother or a sister, maybe they may be helping in washing of utensils. So you are dividing the work or dividing the labor, and together you help to keep the house clean. You help your house to function better. Okay, so we call this division of labor. Now in the human body, how is this seen? The heart pumps blood. So the job of the heart is to pump blood. And the job of the stomach would be to digest the food that enters the stomach. Now these are the jobs or the functions that are carried out by these organs. Do you know division of labor is also seen among cell organelles within the cell? For example, making new materials in the cell or cleaning out waste materials from the cell. These are specific roles or functions which are performed by certain cell organelles only. The different shapes that bacteria can take. So this is just a schematic representation to give you an idea of what they would look like. Alright, so you will see some of them spherical in shape, some of them would be rod shape, some are spiral in shape, some are racket shape like your badminton racket, and so on. Now I have some animated GIFs to show you what the rod shaped bacteria would look like, or if you look at the bottom, these are the spherical bacteria, we call them cocci, and then you have the spiral bacteria. This is just to give you an idea of their shapes. Okay, then these are the same bacteria which have been viewed under a microscope. Remember, bacteria are microscopic, they are unicellular organisms. You cannot see them with your naked eye, so they have to be stained, which means color has to be added to the specimen, and then you study them under a microscope. So if you look at the top left hand corner, you will see the spiral shaped bacteria. That's what they look like under the microscope. Then you have the cocci, which are the spherical bacteria, and then at the bottom you have bacilli. These are rod shaped bacteria. You don't have to remember these names what I'm telling you. I'm just giving you this little bit extra knowledge. Okay. These are some more examples of unicellular organisms. You can look at these. In the first, from the left to the right, you have all bacteria. Then you have amoeba, euglena, paramecium. These are your protists. These are important for you. And then you have examples of amoeba which are unicellular. That Chlamydomonas, which is in the middle there, has been mentioned in your textbook. Now I'm moving on to the different cells in the human body. We spoke about division of labor. Now remember, the shape, the size, the structure of the cells would depend on what kind of function or what kind of role they play in your body. So these are the different types of cells that are found in your body. You can look at these schematic representations. I will also be showing you actual photographs taken of these cells from under the microscope. So the first one I have for you are your muscle cells. Okay, now depending on the location of that particular muscle, they have shown you right on the top left hand corner that those muscles have, there's something called striated and unstriated muscles. We'll be doing this in another chapter, but for now these are the different types of muscle cells or the muscle tissue that you have in your body, and the top of the picture shows you their location in your body. Okay, then these are your different type of blood cells. You know, you have got red blood cells, you have white blood cells, you have platelets. So this is again a stained specimen. Color has been added to show you what your blood cells would look like under the microscope. These are again microscopic versions of sperm cells, which is on the top right hand corner, and the egg cells. You will notice the difference in their shape. You have also done this in the 8th standard. Then on the top left hand corner you will be able to see those cells. These are your bone cells. Again, these are highly magnified images taken under the microscope, and you have fat cells on the bottom right hand corner. Okay, next I have to show you the cells of an onion peel, which means that thin transparent layer that exists when you peel an onion has been taken and placed in under the microscope. Stain has been added and it has been observed. So these are what cells of an onion peel would look like. Thank you, students.